Boom. Hello, everybody. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now I got it too bright. There we go. I'm using my camera on my computer because I want my phone available tonight. So the quality will be slightly less. With my phone quality, it's much better. But actually, let me know if my microphone's working because that's been fun too. Figuring that over the last few days. So let me know if my mic is okay. And then let me get TikTok rolling, which we're trying to use my mic on TikTok too, which it's been a while. So let's see. Hang on, give me a second to get TikTok set up. Mike sounds good? Okay, good. Thank you, Jason. Election update. All right. All right. Dog just got some water, so we're going to see if she actually leaves me alone. Yes, this was either a mom or dad sweater. I don't know which, but I need to get the zipper fixed. But isn't it a cool sweater, though? I love this. But I need to get the zipper switched. It's and I love the tag because you can tell it's like some ancient, some ancient sweater, which is quite fun. Hey, Bjorn. All right, let me get, I still don't understand why TikTok does not have an election night gift. They are missing out here. So missing out. I'm doing a final little look here. So missing out. Silly, silly, silly TikTok. Silly TikTok. Oh, hello. And then Sasha is in the background playing, of course, as she is wont to do. Oh, my God. She cracks me up. You really want to play? We can't play now. Oh, God. All right. Hang on. Let me get, there we go. TikTok going live. All right. God, she cracks me up. All right. TikTok is going live. Reverse my background. I know we are back to our normal, regular, scheduled hangout here. Let me, hopefully TikTok is actually working with my microphone. Let's find out when TikTokers arrive. Hello, Eileen, first TikToker. Hey, guys. So is my microphone working okay here? Hey, Mark Star. I'm going to actually pull it away. Now, I know on YouTube it is, but on TikTok, is the mic getting better and worse as I pull this away to make sure my good microphone is actually working for you guys? Thank you, Crazy American. Let me know. Sometimes it doesn't work. It does sound good? Okay. Good. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Loudish. Yeah, it's going to be loudish because on YouTube... Actually, hold on. There. That should be the right setting. Sorry, I did have it on the wrong setting. I kept thinking of Discord. When it's on Discord, I've got it set it too loud. But for YouTube, you guys, it's a normal setting. Welcome, everybody. Oh, my God. Ah! So, wait, where is he? Ah! So much trauma, so much drama. Oh, my God. Thank you, Michael, for the gift. Thank you, everybody, for the gifts on TikTok. Heidi. Scary, scary, scary. What's going on, huh? We are talking about the election today. We are not talking about Ukraine tonight. I'm sure you can all appreciate why. Thank you, Running, for the gifts. Thank you, Pedro. Considering phone banking for Harris, you should do it. Do it, Christabel. That sounds like a great idea. I wouldn't cry throughout the day. Exactly, Iowa. Carol, we're going to talk about Iowa. Thank you, Tari. We're going to talk about the election tonight. That is our big discussion point. You want to go out again? All right, go out again. That is our big discussion. We're not talking about Ukraine tonight. Thank you, MNJ. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Bjorn, for obvious reasons. Lots of gifts. Thank you. Who's that? Nicolate. Thank you. Woo. So yes, welcome everybody. I am back in DC. Woo. It's actually weird for me to even see my background. I'm like, oh, it looks nice. My apartment looks nice. I'm so used to doing mom's, my mom's old paneling. That's getting sold. What do you do? Thank you, Tarad, Vicky. Oh, those leaves are fun. That's fun. Oh, did I have stuff on my lips? You know what I was doing? I had left over. I made. 1 second. This is funny. There we go. Damien was house sitting for me, my friend Damien. And okay, dog, are we enjoying ourselves? I guess so. Damien was house sitting for me, and he's always sweet because when I come back, he leaves me stuff. So he buys milk and eggs, so I've got stuff to eat. My coffee. Thank you, Tada. And he left me a what do you call it? Those Pillsbury or whatever they are rolls that turn into Danish. We call them Danish in America. The sweets. They expand, and cinnamon rolls, and you put the stuff on them. So there were 2 cinnamon rolls left in the fridge, and I was so hungry. I made them. I like heated them up before the show, so I still had like that wonderful white frosting that the rolls have. I know. I'm like, oh, thank you, Martin, for the gifts. I am not. Okay, dog is still. Hello, dog. You want to come in so you leave me alone? Come on. Don't bother me during my show. Yeah, wood paneling for my apartment. It's funny. It is funny though, like seeing my apartment now after being at my mom's for so long. It's weird. I'm kind of like, oh, I like my apartment on camera. It looks nice. Anyway. Oh man. Yes, the mods are going to need a drink tonight and even more so tomorrow night. So Pillsbury, that's it. So what we're going to do is tonight we're going to talk about the election. Thank you, Alex, for the dino. We'll deal with Ukraine, obviously, another night. This is too important. Thank you, Courtney. And yes, the apartment is bright. I decided long ago, I sort of have a setting for Google, and I go, okay, Google, it's showtime. And I don't want to say it again. And it makes all the lights in the apartment get on 100% because I figured it kind of is nicer that way. You know, it's just the background lighting. Thank you, Chaz. So anyway, guys, yes, let's talk about the election. Quick update. So I have decided, no offense, but thank you, Shelly, for the gift. We are going to do the turkey. Thank you, Jessica. I didn't see that one before. TikTok has a gift that's a turkey on your head, like Joey from Friends when he's got the whole turkey on his head. That was very funny. So what I'm going to do tomorrow night, because we do have a lot of paid subscribers, and I have to do things for the paid subscribers because they pay. You know what I mean? Like I have to actually make it, not just make it worth your while, but say thank you. So what I'm going to do tomorrow night is, at least for the first half of the evening. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Flojo. Thank you, Jorge. For the first half of the evening, I am going to have a subscriber only show tomorrow night. We're going to start at 6:45, maybe 6:30, 6:45 p.m. Eastern time, US. That's New York City time. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Kathy. And as the evening goes on, if Harris is winning, for sure we'll open it up to everybody because then all the trolls come too, and then it'll be kind of funny. Thank you, Ava, and thank you, Jorge, for the chicken. And I thought long and hard about this, but I was like, you know what? Because I've been in Chicago these last 2.5 months dealing with my mom's estate, I have not done all the private shows I wanted to do. I just started doing a ton of, like, every day I was doing a private show in the morning for the paid subscribers. And then obviously with mom, that just threw a wrench in everything. So I've not been doing them. So I kind of felt like I have to do tomorrow night's show. Thank you, Ava, for the, that was Cammie with the dragon. Thank you, Ava, or Cammie. That was very sweet of you. So I kind of felt like tomorrow night, I have to at least start the show private. Thank you, Kathy. As a thank you to all the paid subscribers, because as I said, I've unfortunately dropped the ball the last couple months and have not been able to do the sort of 5 days a week in the morning special show for you guys because things were just so crazy. So anyway, but if Kamala is winning, Kamala, I can't pronounce her name, Kamala. If Kamala is winning, thank you, Diana, we may just open the show up for everybody because then it'll be a lot of fun. And then if the trolls come, it'll be even funnier because then we'll be winning. And it'll be like, All right, let's get rolling, guys. So Gio is asking for a gift subscription on TikTok. Actually, on YouTube, who did we have last night? I don't know if she's here tonight. We had somebody yesterday when I was doing my sort of a quick afternoon hangout. Thank you, Cammie. We had somebody who was asking for a gift membership as well, and I don't remember, but we'll see. Any case, all right, guys. Ken's looking for a subscription too. So let's get rolling. So we are one day before the U.S. elections. Finally, it's only been going on for like 2 years, quite literally. Thank you, Marcia, for the gift. American presidential elections go for 2 years. It's insane. I remember being in Europe and thinking like, the Brits, for example. The Brits had a election for, their leader, prime minister this summer. And it was announced, we're having the election. It will be in 6 weeks. And as an American, you listen to that and go, what? Thank you, Leah, for subscribing. Thank you, Gio. Or if those were gifts, even better, whoever gave those. And Jamie too, actually, let me make a special request for Jamie McCready on TikTok asking for a subscription. Jamie is a teenager who has a wonderful sports show, but also has interviewed me about politics, super engaged, a perfect example of somebody who it would be nice to give a gift membership to because he literally is, I don't mean to call you a kid, but you are a kid. But super bright and a wonderful interview. If somebody can help him out, please do. I try to ask for everybody, but Jamie in particular, I think would be great. All right, let me get rolling, guys. Thank you, Gabber, for subscribing. So, good, you got Jamie. Thank you for that, guys. So let's get rolling, guys. We're going to go through the election stuff. Let me actually start with, and thank you for the gifts, by the way. Keep them coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ernie. I always tell you guys I do this for free, and I do it full time. So it can't really be for free because I have to pay the bills, and your gifts pay the bills. So thank you. So green screen the wood paneling. That would be very funny, Christopher. No, you know what? That's too bad. I didn't think of that. That would have been very funny to grab a picture from the other side of my mom's table of the paneling. I really didn't think of that. Would have been freaking brilliant, and just put it up one day. Oh, you should have said that last week. That would have been very funny. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, High Tide. So I've got a ton of details about the election, polls and stuff that happened today. Why don't I start with what everybody's wondering, which is obviously who's going to win? Obviously, we don't know. It's been a tie. I will say this. Today, I will say my sense, I'm in Washington, D.C., but the world is much smaller now with the internet. So a lot of what I get from people is online, following political people on Twitter. So it's not really, I will be honest, it's not really being in D.C. on the street talking to people, right? But nonetheless, being in Washington, D.C. today, I think, thank you, Courtney, thank you, Bryce, thank you, adventurers. And I think what Robert just said on TikTok, leaning towards Harris, thank you, Janice, today leaned a little towards Harris. Today, things leaned a little her way. Thank you, Bjorn and Colin. I think, for the last month, we've been seeing the polls tighten, and they did, and they have. I'm going to talk about that in a second, too. The polls are still tightening. But in the last 2 days, and I think this Iowa news was the big story. We'll talk about it in a second. Today, I just feel like Democrats are feeling a little better. Democrats could still lose. Trump could absolutely still win. This is not even vaguely a done deal. I was more worried yesterday than I am today. But Trump absolutely positively could win this, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did. That's what I'm saying. This is still. So what happened yesterday, which was very interesting, Iowa, and see, Chaz agrees with me. So there you go. I'm in a good mood. I don't know why I'm in a good mood today. I shouldn't be. This is terrifying. Iowa yesterday, the Des Moines Register is the big paper in Iowa, very respected paper. Iowa. Oh, Ava, I've got your, hang on. Oh, I'm going to have to, the U.S. states map that Carol, I think, sent me. I'm trying to remember. I've got it packed away, so I'm going to have to get that out later. I think I just watched it, actually. It's probably in my room. It's going to be a little too hard to get right now. Iowa's in the middle of the country. Iowa is farm country. Very white, very typical America in a white way. Okay. So meaning it's not typical it's not like it's a huge Black and Latino community, right? Thank you, Smug Chick Monk, for subscribing on YouTube. But the, hang on. Yeah, I did. I thank Shelly. Thank you, Amanda, for reminding me. But I said, Shelly, thank you so much. I did see that. Thank you. The Iowa is, I would say, very kind of white bread America, very white, whatever. The Des Moines Register, very good newspaper. Their polls are usually very super accurate. And the woman they have working their poll, this Seltzer woman, is like scary accurate pollster, just ridiculous. For the last 20 years, she's gotten almost every election right. And typically she picks the winner, and the winner wins by 1 or 2 points more. So if she says the winner is going to win by 4, they usually win by 5 or 6. Super highly respected, like Robert just said, super. She says with the Des Moines Register poll that Harris is beating Trump 47-44 in Iowa. Now, the margin of error is 3. So remember, statistically, that's a tie. But we hope this poll is correct. Now, it could be an outlier. Outliers, or actually, it probably is an outlier to some degree. Outliers are polls where you go, whoa, that's not like the other polls, right? Often, if a poll isn't like the other polls, it means it's wrong. This woman who did this poll is so reputable in Iowa. She exclusively does Iowa. That's her state. She doesn't poll other states. She is widely respected, and she always gets it right. Thank you, KT. That people are looking at this poll and going, if this woman says Kamala Harris is either 3 points ahead of Trump, or if you look at the margin of error being 3 points, thank you, Maddie. Thank you, KT. It's a tie. Okay. So remember, because margin of error, when they do polls, they always say, yeah, but there's a window of error. I could be wrong. So the margin of error, they call it, is 3 percentage points. So it's statistically a tie, even though Harris is ahead by 3. Here's the problem. Trump should be winning Iowa by 9 points, 10 points, 7 points, 8 points. Trump should be destroying Kamala Harris in Iowa. Iowa is Republican white people. It is not Kamala Harris, right? It just isn't. There's no way Kamala Harris should be doing good in Iowa. Mark is saying 6 points. Trump won Iowa both times by a lot. Thank you, Tom M, for subscribing. The Trump campaign responded and said something like, what did they say? There was another poll, I think, that showed her ahead by like 9 points or something in Iowa. And the Trump people said, no, we're actually ahead by 5 points, Trump said. We're ahead by 5 points. And what was interesting is what the pollsters were saying is in Iowa, if Trump is only ahead 5 points, that's horrific for Trump. Thank you, Marsha. Trump should be destroying Kamala Harris. So what people are thinking is, even if this Iowa poll is a little bit off, even if Kamala Harris isn't winning by 3 points, a lot of people believe that this Iowa poll suggests that there is some momentum for Kamala Harris. It's happening in unlikely places, like among traditional Republican white voters. Specifically, what this poll found in Iowa was women, and specifically older women and independent women, were coming out like crazy for Kamala Harris. Thank you, Lord and Beast. So that's, again, we don't know. Thank you, Aviation. But I will say, the people who know politics are very, Ann Seltzer, that's her name. Thank you, WC. The people who know politics are very intrigued by this poll because they feel like it's suggesting that maybe this sort of women's wave might be happening. Now, and again, we don't know. Again, one of the things, remember, I do versus the other shows, not the other, people like Harry Sisson are great, right? Not Harry, but I think some of the Republican shows try to spin the facts and they may not tell you exactly what's going on. I don't do that. If the polls are bad, I tell you. And the polls have been tied, scarily tied. And Trump, keep in mind, thank you, Seer, Trump traditionally does better on election day than the polls. So Trump traditionally does several points better in many of these states on election day. In other words, than the polls predicted. But here's the interesting thing, and this is why this Iowa poll is interesting. Because of Roe v. Wade, because of abortion, Democrats have been doing incredibly well the last 2 years in almost pretty much every election. Thank you. Oh boy, Vsevolod? I may have seen your name before. I remember trying to pronounce that. Vsevolod? Democrats have done incredibly well in the last 2 years in something like 22 elections because of abortion. Donald Trump is to blame for women losing the constitutionally protected right to an abortion in America. I should say the constitutional protection for the right to an abortion in America. Trump didn't actually do it. It was the Supreme Court. Thank you, Charles. But it was the Supreme Court Trump selected, the U.S. Supreme Court. Trump, as Republicans have for 50 years. Well, actually, this is an important issue. Let me give you a little more background, okay? Thank you, Charles. 1973. U.S. Supreme Court, thank you, Cassandra, rules in a ruling called Roe v. Wade, Roe versus Wade, that women, there is a constitutionally protected right to privacy that women have in America. It goes to reproductive health. It goes to the right to an abortion. It goes to the right to contraception. It goes to the right to control your body for health matters, right? But abortion obviously became the most famous aspect of that discussion, right? Thank you, Christina. And for 50 years, Republicans had promised they were going to get Roe versus Wade struck down. They were going to get the court to they were going to put Republicans on the court, anti-abortion, anti-choice Republicans on the court, and they were going to get Roe v. Wade thrown out. And they did it with Donald Trump. And importantly, they were going to ban abortion nationwide. Trump intentionally picked 3 Supreme Court justices because the president appoints them in America, and they're lifetime appointments. Trump appoints 3 justices who pretty much promised, in their lives, that they would get rid of the right to an abortion. And they did. They struck down Roe v. Wade after 50 years. Historic decision, shocking decision. Women now no longer have a constitutional right to an abortion. This means states can ban abortion entirely if they want to. This means the federal government can ban abortion. The Congress can. Many Republicans want to, if Trump is elected, to ban abortion. J.D. Vance said he had wanted to ban abortion entirely, 100% for all women in America. And now he kind of backed off because Trump got scared that women are going to destroy them, right, in the election. That's the context. That happened 2 years ago. As a result, Republicans have done horrible in the elections in the last 2 years, maybe 22 elections or so. So the big question for this election was, 1, will Donald Trump continue to do so much better on election day than the polls suggest? Because Trump typically does better than we anticipate. Will that happen? So Trump will win big? Or will Democrats have a much better day than the polls suggest because of abortion turning out women in droves? And that's why this Iowa issue is important, this Iowa poll, because it is the first indication that maybe there is this groundswell of women maybe turning out and changing everything. Let me get into more of this now, okay? Washington Post presidential polling average shows a tight race in every swing state. Because it's election night, I'm going to explain this again to you guys because it's important how this works. In America, and we've got more people tonight than usual, in America, we do not pick the president based on the popular vote. It does not matter if you get the most votes, believe it or not, at the national level. What matters is each individual state. Hillary Clinton won the national vote. Thank you, Janice, for subscribing. And thank you, Jen, for the gift. Hillary Clinton won the national vote against Donald Trump. She got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump in 2016. She lost. Al Gore, Bill Clinton's vice president, Democrat, got 500,000 more votes than George Bush in 2000. He lost. The Republican won. Popular vote is not how they win. You've got to win a certain number of states. Each state has a point value attached to it. It's called electoral votes, but let's just call it a point value. And smaller states have smaller points, like Washington, D.C. has 3 points. Alaska, small state, like, I don't know if it's 500,000. Is Alaska at 750,000 or did it drop to 500,000 again? I always forget, but somewhere around there. Alaska's worth 3 points. Huge states like California, when I say huge, I mean population, worth 54 points. Pennsylvania, a very important state, I believe is 19 points. Well, if you win the majority vote in these states, almost every state, not every, we're not going to go to the exceptions tonight, but on almost every state, if you win a majority of the votes, 50.1%, you get all the points for that state. So if you win Washington, D.C. by 50.1%, you get 3 votes. You get 3 points. Thank you, Pam Pam. If you win Pennsylvania by 50.1%, you get all 19 Pennsylvania electoral votes. All the way. You've got to basically put all those states together. You win. You get the state's points. And if you reach 270 points, you become president. Honestly, even explaining this to you, I'm embarrassed because it sounds so freaking stupid, right? I mean, why isn't it just the number of votes, right? I mean, to say, well, we've got 270 points. Why 270? Just because, it's like that Saturday Night Live episode about why we don't use the metric system. Just because. But that's how it works. That is why you will constantly hear Americans talk about the election in terms of the swing states and the battleground states. We're always talking about certain key states. There's 7 of them, actually. And how Trump and Kamala Harris are doing in those states, because those are the states that matter. Every state matters, but we already know most of the states which way they're going, right? Whereas these 7 states can go either way. All right, let's jump in. So they're called swing states. Vice President Harris has held her leads nationally and in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. Her lead in Pennsylvania has narrowed. Pennsylvania, hugely important. Trump still leads in Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. So Harris is ahead in 4 of the swing states. Trump is ahead in 3, but all of them pretty much are within the margin of error. So all of them are pretty much a tie. Okay, let's go on. I talked about Iowa already. NBC News. NBC News had an interesting poll, getting back to that women's issue we talked about and whether women are going to turn out in historic numbers and really swing this election for Kamala Harris. Listen to this. NBC News poll, final poll. Share of voters who rate their election interest as at least 9 out of 10 by gender, meaning the percent of voters interviewed, men and women. Thank you, Celtic for the, or Celtic for the leaves. The percentage of women, Celtic again for the leaves. Thank you. The percentage of women and men who said their interest level in the election is at least a 9 out of 10, right? So like, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 10 means you're not that interested. 8 out of 10 means you're pretty interested. 9 out of 10 means you're really interested, right? So people who said they're really interested in the election, men versus women. The year 2000, thank you, Trilitic. The year 2008. Men, 79%. I'm just going to say super interested in the election is the way I'll put it, okay? In 2008, men, 79%, super interested in the election. 78% women. So men were actually 1 percentage point more interested in the election than women who, super interested. 2012, 79% men, 80% women. So women were 1 point more super interested in the election than men, right? So they're interviewing and they're saying, who is super interested in the election? Super following it, cares about it a lot. Women were 1 point ahead of men in 2012. 2016, men 76%, women 77%. So again, women were 1 percentage point more super interested, how do I phrase this? 1% more women were super interested in the election than men. 2020, 1% more men were super interested in the election than women. Thank you, Eva. So in every case, you're within 1 point, right? Every presidential election, we go back to 2008, men and women were pretty much equally interested as far as those who were super interested, but usually women were 1 point ahead or men were 1 point ahead. Actually, not usually, every time. Listen to this. 2024, today, 74% of men are super interested in the election, 80% of women. Women are 6%, 6% more women are super interested in this election than men. That has not happened since 2008. Since 2008, it has always been men or women, pretty much tied in terms of those who are super interested in the election. Now, women are 6 points more than men who are super interested in the election. What does that mean? That tells you something's going on. Either men are less interested or women are way more interested because of Roe v. Wade, because of abortion, and I would argue because of Trump overall. There's a lot of things in Trump's personality that would not appeal to women, that would appeal to men. The other day when he said, I know I shouldn't say this. My advisors tell me I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. And a lot of women took that as being, not just paternalistic, but as Kamala Harris said, you're going to tell me, like, you're going to protect my body or something, even though I told you not to? Like, I'm going to do it anyway? It's creepy, as Shannon just said, right? So this is another sign. Oh, thank you, Celtic. Very cool gift. Oh, I love that. Thank you for the meteor shower. Appreciate that. So this is another sign. Again, guys, we don't know. I am not saying Kamala Harris is going to have a blowout tomorrow. I still am very worried about this, but I will tell you I'm feeling better tonight than I was last night. But that's because last night I was like, and we are seeing signs that women are super engaged, which is what we were hoping and what Trump was hoping not. A little bit more here. Final PBS NPR Marist poll, another very trustworthy poll. Harris is wiping out Trump's lead among men. Trump is down from plus 16 among men last night. Let me explain what this means. Harris versus Trump among men. Who's winning? A month ago, Trump was beating Harris by 16 percentage points. Okay? Thank you, Dave, for the gifts there. In other words, Trump was 16 points, had 16 points more of in the polls than Harris had with women. 16 points. It would be like, 30% Harris, 46% men. Or I'm making these numbers up, right? But 16 percentage point difference. Thank you, people, for the gift. People News for the gift. Trump was 16 points ahead of Harris with men a month ago. Today, Trump is just 4 percentage points above Harris with men. So Trump's lead among men dropped from 16 percentage points to 4 percentage points. Huge. Obviously huge. Thank you, Grandma, for that. Harris still leads among women by double digits, 11 percentage points. Again, In this case, not only are you seeing it looks like Harris is maybe getting an extra boost from women, it looks like she might even be convincing some men. I mean, initially it was much more lopsided. Some men that might have been in the middle, might have been for Trump, that, you know what, I could vote for her. So very interesting. Today, Harris and Trump both focused mostly on Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of the 7 battleground states, swing states, but really one of the 3 big ones. The 3 big ones are Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Those are the ones that everyone is paying attention to, okay? Very interesting. A major exit poll tracking early voters. Early voting started like 4 weeks ago or something. So people in many of these states have been able to just go and vote, even though tomorrow's election day, go and vote earlier. A major poll of early voters after Trump's rally on Sunday last week, a week ago. Trump held a rally in Madison Square Garden in New York. And a comedian opened the show, and he made some racist jokes about black people. And he said the following, and new polling showing Latinos are pissed, which is very interesting. The comedian starts talking about, you know, that big, there's literally a pile of garbage in the Pacific Ocean. And the way the current, it's crazy. I forget what's it called. And there's some name for it, the pile of garbage in the Pacific Ocean. But the way the currents go, all the garbage people have thrown over the years, thank you, Tyler, have thrown over the years, have gotten washed together into this miles long. I don't know how many, somebody Google too. Somebody Google, how big was this pile of garbage in the Pacific? I mean, huge, the Great Garbage Patch. That's what it's called. So thank you, Sobo. Somebody Google and tell me, what does Google say about the size of it? Just to tell people who may not be familiar, what's like the diameter of it or whatever from one side to the other. It's horrific. I mean, when you see the pictures of it, it's horrific. Oh, there's like 6 of them, even worse, Chuck says. 1.6 million square kilometers. So Jesus Christ. So wait, so how long is it what's the diameter though? What's the diameter? 1.6 million, 400,000 kilometers? You're kidding me. 600,000. No, I don't want square. I want distance. Square does not help. See, that's one of those scientific things. The scientific people like to talk about square miles and square kilometers. For normal people, we go, like, I don't know what a square mile looks like. Honestly, it's huge is the point. 700 miles wide, IM is saying, enormous. Anyway, so here's what happens, right? As big as Texas. Oh my God. I didn't know that. As big as Texas. And for you who aren't American, Texas is huge. Anyway, you get the point. This enormous pile of garbage. So the comedian starts going, did you hear? They found a huge isle of garbage, an island of garbage in the Atlantic Ocean. The comedian opening Trump's rally says. He goes, it's called Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is an American territory. It is in the Atlantic Ocean. It is a lovely place. I have been. The Puerto Ricans are some of the nicest people I've ever met. I had a lot of fun on the island. Very nice people. And they speak Spanish and English because they're American citizens. This guy called Puerto Rico an island of garbage. Latinos did not find that funny. Obviously, I would not find it funny if somebody called Greece, where my family is from, a country of garbage, right? It's not funny. I mean, there's literally, and again, I saw like some, Trump supporter here trying to claim, oh, it's funny. Where's the joke, right? I mean, jokes have to at least be based in something. Where's the joke basically saying Puerto Ricans are garbage, right? That their island is just a pile of, where's the joke there, right? Where's the kernel of truth? I mean, because jokes are based on truth. Is the kernel of truth that you're claiming Puerto Ricans really do live on garbage? That's bullshit. Puerto Rico's a wonderful place, right? It's a racist joke, and it's a stupid, Puerto Ricans were not thrilled. Latinos were not thrilled. They did exit polls of Pennsylvania voters. There's a ton of Puerto Ricans in New York City, but also Pennsylvania has a ton of Puerto Ricans. Pennsylvania is close to New York. And as I said, Pennsylvania is one of the 3 top states and really the number 1 state that Trump and Harris both need, okay? They did polls of Latinos going to vote and asked them how they felt about this. Listen to this. A major exit poll tracking early voters after Trump's rally's island of garbage comment found Latino voters in Pennsylvania moved 9 points towards Kamala Harris after the comment. Univision had more. Univision is one of the top 2 Latino broadcasters in the U.S., or maybe in the North America. I don't even know. I always forget. One of them might be Mexican. It was Univision, and I'm forgetting the other one. Listen to this. An Univision YouGov survey shows that 69% of respondents considered comments defining Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage to be more racist than humorous. These are Latinos they're interviewing. 69% of Latinos said the joke was more racist than humorous. Only 17% of Latino respondents viewed the comments as intended jokes rather than serious remarks. In other words, let me rephrase that. Only Telemundo, that's the other one. Thank you, Dark. Only 17% viewed the comments as a joke. Only 17%. Thank you, boy mom. Right? In other words, it's not like a lot of Latinos said, yeah, it's a joke, but it's not very funny. Only 17% of Latinos said it's even a joke. In other words, it wasn't. In other words, the majority of Latinos think it was meant to be a serious, nasty comment about Puerto Rico. It wasn't meant to be a joke at all. Okay? Listen to this. Additionally, 71% of Puerto Ricans felt that even if it was intended as a joke, these comments suggest that there is racism within Trump's campaign. 71% of Latinos felt that the joke suggested that there is racism in Donald Trump's campaign. Now, my favorite comment I will make right now, all the Trump supporters are on TikTok right now saying, chill out, relax, basically get used to it. Right? Anybody who's Latino out there, I want you to pay attention to these guys, right? They're sitting there and they're basically lecturing and making fun of Latinos and saying, your concerns don't matter. The fact that they offended you doesn't matter. The fact that they were racist towards you doesn't matter is what they're telling you. It's again, this is, are we surprised, right? It's Donald Trump. We've had 8 years of this. We know about his racism. We know about his bigotry, right? We know everything about, remember Donald Trump, and TikTok will freak out, so I won't do it, but I wouldn't do it anyway. Donald Trump, 2016, he mocked a reporter with a disability. There's a New York Times reporter, at least at the time, maybe still is, New York Times reporter, who has, I don't know what illness he has, almost like a palsy, and his one of his arms is, locked like this, right? I mean, he's got nerve problems or muscle problems, probably a dystrophy. I should say probably like a dystrophy. And Trump goes on stage and didn't like the reporter. And Trump goes on stage, and I am not going to mimic what Trump did. But he gets on stage and starts moving around his arms like the reporter, because again, he's got like a dystrophy to his arms. Trump starts moving around like the reporter and starts going like this. He starts moving his head like it was disgusting. Is it actually muscular dystrophy? I didn't know if it actually was, Aminata. I was going to say it was a kind of dystrophy is what it looked like. It was the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. Trump is physically mimicking a man with muscular dystrophy. He's physically mimicking the way the guy talks because it affects his voice. And it was sickening. This was 2016. And I've told you guys before, there's a wonderful quote from Maya Angelou, a famous American poet I got to meet once. I was so excited I got to meet her. She was very funny. She was kind of flirty. She was almost flirting with me. She was really cute. But lovely woman. I met her at a dinner. And Maya Angelou had said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Right? Meaning, bad people will show you they're bad people. And when they show you they're bad people, believe them. Stop giving them another chance. I did meet her. Yes, we were I used to work for the Children's Defense Fund. Somebody asked, or Amanda asked, a super famous poet, this one, Maya Angelou. An amazing, God, the way, Google her and watch one of her videos of her speaking, because she had this beautiful, almost deep voice and this very passionate, slow way of speaking that I, of course, cannot do. I can't talk slow if my life depended on it. Wonderful woman. And we were walking around. I was working at Children's Defense Fund, this big organization in DC, and she was at the dinner because she was good friends with our boss, Marin Wright Edelman, maybe getting an award. And I went up and I said, somebody even said, have you met Maya Angelou? I said, no, I would love to. Oh, Maya Angelou, John works for us. Oh, thank you so much to meet you. She goes, what's your name again? I said, John Aravosis. She goes, are you Greek? I said, yes. She goes, I'm Greek too. And I looked at, mind you, this woman is black as the night. Okay. She goes, I'm Greek too. Now, mind you, nowadays, right? I've got a story coming up on that. There are very black Greeks we now know in basketball. But at the time, this is almost 30 years ago. Okay. There weren't that many black Greeks back then. She goes, I'm Greek too. And I look at her and, you're meeting Maya Angelou and it's at my work awards dinner. So I'm kind of in my head going, are you messing with me? But again, it's Maya Angelou and it's my work dinner. So I'm like, really? And she goes, my last name's Angelou. And I went, oh God, you're right. Because Angelou is Greek, right? And I'm going, that is a Greek name. I said, how? And she says, oh, I'm kidding. My husband was Greek. I said, are you still married? She goes, oh no, I divorced him. And I said to her, I said, sorry, on behalf of Greeks, sorry. She goes, oh no, it's okay. But she was lovely. I really talked for a few minutes, but she was absolutely hilarious and lovely. But I loved, I'm Greek too. And she goes, oh, but I got rid of him. And I was like, sorry. Yeah, Marion is amazing. Yeah, Miss Carla. Anyway, that was my Maya Angelou story, but it was quick, but it was still very exciting because what a neat woman. All right, let's keep moving on here. So this is another interesting story. Again, looking at what's going to happen tomorrow, we've got to look at the anecdotes, okay? And I have seen multiple news reports today with video showing in the last 2 or 3 days, Trump's rallies have not had the number of followers they traditionally have had. Thank you, Trilitic, my Joey from Friends, Turkey again. Trump's rallies are falling short. And again, you guys know this. I do not, anybody who's new here, I do not couch the news. When Biden was debating Trump, I told everybody, we were on live and I told everybody, this is very bad, right? I'm not going to hide the news to you. Trump, there have been repeated news reports and they were on the ground at the rallies and Trump speaking. And the rally venues were like 70% full. The thing is, Trump's rallies are 100% full. Typically, they are. And this was multiple rallies in the last 3 or 4 days that people just weren't turning out. Thank you, Trilitic. Why? I don't know. Typically, it would suggest a lack of enthusiasm. Trump supporters are trying to claim, oh, it's because people already voted and they don't need to turn out. I got news for you. If Kamala Harris were speaking nearby tonight, I wouldn't say, oh, I've already voted. I don't need to go hear Kamala Harris speak. I'd be like, you can get me in. And I did that with Barack Obama. Barack Obama, election night, was speaking in Virginia near me here in Washington, D.C. We got tickets because we were press and we knew the campaign people. And we went out there, got to watch the speech. I got beautiful Zoom pictures of Obama because we were close to him. It was amazing. I had already voted. I think I had already voted. I don't even know if I voted or not. I don't even care. It was Barack Obama, right? Kamala Harris. Again, if she's speaking nearby, you'd go see her. Thank you, Trilitic. For Trump's people, especially Trump, right? Trump supporters love Trump. Why would a Trump supporter who these women are great, right? They wear the weird T-shirts about wanting Trump's baby and stuff. Why would these people not want to see Trump because they already voted, right? They don't go to, right? There's no connection. Anyway, it's another data point, but it's been multiple rallies and I saw the videos and it's real. The enthusiasm might be waning a little for Trump. Again, all of these things matter. This does not mean Trump will lose. But all of these things matter, right? The enthusiasm matters. The enthusiasm is, first of all, enthusiasm is infectious, right? Yesterday, I would say, or 2 days ago, Democrats were getting more and more worried this weekend about the election, right? And as soon as you get worried, you talk to your friends who are worried and everyone starts to worry. And that kind of negativity doesn't help. Maybe it means you don't give as much money. Maybe it means you don't volunteer. Maybe it means you don't even vote election day if it's cold and rainy because you say, you know what, I think she's just going to lose. The enthusiasm matters. And if there's starting to be a lack of enthusiasm for Trump, again, small little things make a difference in the election. Anyway, let's keep going here. So speaking of racism, Donald Trump said that black Milwaukee Bucks star, Milwaukee basketball team, one of the stars of the team, I think he's probably the star of the team, is a Greek who is black because his parents are Nigerian. And it's a very interesting story. This has been now a number of years he's been there. Yanis, Adentokoupo. I can't pronounce his name. I'm Greek, but I can't. Okay, well, obviously, I was going to say I'm Greek and I can't pronounce his name because his name is Nigerian. George, how do we pronounce his name? Antetokounmpo. Something like that. It's not a Greek name, obviously, it's a Nigerian name. He's born in Greece. He's a Greek citizen. He was born and raised Greek. He speaks, I remember asking Greek friends of mine years ago, and I said, what's his Greek like? And they said, oh no, he's Greek. They said his Greek is like, they said it's weird because you're seeing this Nigerian, man who's speaking perfect Greek. Again, Greece, you've got to remember, like many countries in Europe, but Greece even more so, I think, very monolithic. I mean, my family's Greek. Everybody's Greek Orthodox. Everybody's ethnic Greek. My family goes back in Greece hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, right? Antetokounmpo, oh boy. I'll have to Google it on YouTube and see how to say it. I know I mauled it. I'm sure I mauled it. So Trump says of him basically that Yanni is no more Greek than Trump is. Because the guy's black, Trump felt the need to denigrate him and saying he's not really Greek. Like Trump said, basically, he's as Greek as that guy is. He was the Greek flag bearer at the Paris Olympics. He carried the Greek flag. I mean, again, yes, he's of Nigerian origin. He's ethnically Nigerian. He's born in Greece. He's a Greek citizen. He's raised as a Greek, right? You don't, and again, it also shows in Trump, sadly, him not getting what Americans are either. One of the the rest of the world's catching up with us. But one of the things, actually Canadians too, I'd say Canadians too, one of the things that's always been very unique about Americans is we're not one ethnicity. I mean, maybe at the beginning, right? We were British at the beginning. Then we had a lot of Germans too, right? But we're everything. And it always cracked me up because people would say, like, you don't look American. I'm like, well, I do look American. Like, we all look American. I mean, it's no difference. And so, like, you wouldn't tell somebody because they're black or they're Asian or they're white or whatever. Oh, well, you're not really American. It's like, well, but that's not the way it works. American is not a genetic ethnicity. And in Greece and Europe, that's changed as well. But classic Trump kind of comment. Another thing Trump did this weekend, Trump was talking, and again, these kind of things I think are important because they all come together to tell you who Trump is as a man. He's doing a rally yesterday, and the day before, and he's talking about how, so I've got the glass shield or the bulletproof shield in front of me because, they shot at me twice, and see the shield in front of me? Look who's on the other side of the shield. It's the fake media. Trump says, if they try to shoot me, they've got to shoot the fake media first. And he says, I don't mind. I'm okay with that. Guys, Trump was shot at once by a Republican, but still, he was shot at. The second time, some other crazy man with a gun was apparently stalking Trump in the bushes at a golf course, right? We are a violent country. We have shootings all the time. It is abhorrent thank you, Christabel, for the gift. It is abhorrent to suggest anyone should be shot and killed. That is sickening. It is not just un-American. It's inhuman. You just don't do it. These jokes from Trump, it's like Trump's campaign event. Thank you, Shorty. Saying that Puerto Rico is an island of garbage, and Trump supporters, and they're going to do it right now again. The Trump supporters are going to say, yeah, it's a joke. It's funny. It's not funny suggesting that Puerto Ricans are garbage. It's not funny suggesting that someone should assassinate members of the media. Trump had talked about killing Hillary Clinton years ago. I mean, he joked about Nancy Pelosi's like 81, 82-year-old husband being beaten in the head with a hammer. Some guy kidnapped him. And beat this, like, thank you, Russell, like 82-year-old man, beat him in the head with a hammer. He had to go for like 8 hours of surgery. Imagine 82 years old too, guys. I mean, right? That kind of age. Thank you, Sue Paris. And Trump joked about it repeatedly and thought it was funny that an 82-year-old man got his head beaten in with a hammer. He's not a nice man. He's not a good man. There's something wrong with him. And again, these anecdotes matter. They matter. Thank you. Recently, it's either moms or dads. I don't know. But it's an old one. I was telling people before, the sweater, because it's got like the tag that reeks of being, I love the tag too, because it just looks old. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry. Somebody was commenting on the sweater. I've got to get the zipper fixed though. A little bit more here. Oop, careful, Brad. You're either a troll, or if you're being funny, people are going to think you're a troll. Brad might be a troll. Keep an eye on him. Probably is. Thank you, Svevolod. You try to make my life hard. I like you giving me gifts, but you're the hardest name to pronounce. Svevolod. Svevolod. Thank you for that. It's a cool name. It's clearly like, well, I would guess Ukrainian, but it could be some kind of other Slavic, obviously. But Zve is not something we say in English. It's hard to say. All right, a little bit more here. A little bit more. Trump today. Trump announced his new inflation plan again. Trump keeps announcing plans to increase inflation in America massively. He did it again today. Today, Trump said when he becomes president, he is going to increase tariffs on Mexico by 25 to 75%. If the Mexicans don't shut off all illegal immigration to America. Let's have a little chat about this, guys. Trump just promised to increase the price of what you pay for products in America by 25 to 75%. He's promised to increase tariffs on China by 20 to 25% as well. That literally is a tax. That literally is inflation. The way it works is, literally, someone is importing. By the way, most of our stuff, a lot comes from Mexico. Most of it comes from China. If Trump increases the prices of those products by 25 to 75%, who do you think's going to pay? You are. Someone's not going to sell you the product. If a product is worth $100 and Trump raises the price to $175, they're not going to charge you $100 anymore. They're going to charge you $175. Well, there's a really good guy who's a textile and clothing expert on Twitter, Derek Guy, and he did some analysis on this of how much of various clothing comes from Mexico. He said if Trump's 25% tariff goes into effect, a pair of Levi's jeans will go up from $79.50 to 99 cents. Patagonia hoodies will go up from $89 to $111.25. He says Nike, Hickey Freeman, and New Balance also produce goods in Mexico. The other problem is China. I would venture to say most things you buy in America are made from China. Trump is going to put a massive tax on them. He is going to massively increase inflation. The other problem is he's not just increasing inflation with his tariffs. All the economists, and I'm talking the conservative Wall Street Journal, agreed about this. All the top economists, the Wall Street Journal itself, which is our conservative financial paper, said Donald Trump is going to massively increase inflation if he becomes president because of all the different plans he's got. This stuff matters, guys. If you elect somebody, sorry, my nose is itching now. When you elect somebody who isn't qualified to be president, they can cause a lot of harm. And he did previously. Tried to violently overthrow the government. He killed people during COVID because he just ignored it. Remember, Trump just got pissed off that COVID happened while he was president, so he ignored it. He totally ignored it. He lied to people about it, said it was going away in a few weeks, gave the Russians a bunch of our gear that we needed. Remember the respirators and stuff we needed? People were dying at the beginning. Trump gave it to Putin because, Putin, right? Trump cares more about Putin. And then my favorite thing, Trump loves to go, oh, I created the vaccine. He didn't create the vaccine, but the vaccine was created under his administration. COVID vaccine, huge accomplishment. What did Trump do? What did Trump and the MAGA people do when Trump's COVID vaccine came out, right? Trump literally takes credit for the COVID vaccine and says, look what I did, right? What did Trump and the MAGA people do when the COVID vaccine came out? They convinced everybody not to take it. They said it's dangerous. They said it's unnecessary, and they said it doesn't work. Right? Remember the number? They're probably gonna tell us now. Like, I dare you, Trump trolls, to actually tell us the vaccine works. Right? I mean, it is dangerous to elect people like this. By the way, guess what else Trump is going to do now? He said this weekend he's going to take fluoride out of our water. We have been putting fluoride in water, drinking water in America for decades. I'm talking since I was a kid, like I think 50 years, something like that. It is considered to be one of the top 10 public health achievements of the last 100 years, fluoride in drinking water, because it has totally changed cavity prevention and everything else. Americans, notoriously good teeth. We do. We travel abroad, and Americans, don't mean to offend the rest of you, but whenever Americans go abroad, we're always kind of like, especially when we were younger. Thousands of studies, fluoride is safe. The crazy people think fluoride isn't safe. The crazy people think it does all sorts of crazy things, right? RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., remember him? He's the conspiracy theorist who was running for president. RFK Jr. doesn't believe any vaccine is safe. RFK Jr. doesn't believe any vaccine is proven effective. He literally said last summer, no vaccines were proven effective. A year and a half ago, no vaccine has ever been proven effective. No vaccine has ever been proven safe. His organization, he created this organization for children's health. It's actually to basically stop children from getting vaccinated. RFK Jr.'s organization came out a few months ago and claimed that polio vaccine doesn't work, doesn't do anything. Polio. I mean, literally, everybody knows we cured polio, right? Everybody knows. Jonas Salk created the polio vaccine, and polio was basically cured. I mean, you still have issues, right? But everybody knows the success of polio. Robert F. Kennedy's organization came out last summer and said the polio vaccine doesn't work. Polio, this is a lie, by the way. I mean, I'm telling you the truth, but I'm telling you what they said was a lie, of course. RFK Jr.'s organization says, A, the polio vaccine doesn't work. B, they falsely claimed polio isn't even caused by the polio virus. It's caused by toxins in your blood, and there is no polio virus. I've got news for you. There is a polio virus. It causes polio, and the polio vaccine has saved millions and millions and millions of children from losing the use of their legs and their limbs overall, and losing the ability to breathe. I mean, it's insane. Okay. So Trump has promised that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to run the health infrastructure in America. He's going to be in charge of not just the Department of Health and Human Services. I guess he's going to be in charge of the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, all of our health infrastructure. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be in charge of. And one of the crazy things that RFK Jr. said this weekend is that he's going to get fluoride out of our drinking water. They asked Trump about it, and Trump said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. There are ramifications and repercussions of electing an idiot to be president. If you pick someone who doesn't know what they're doing, if you pick someone who's a conspiracy theorist, if you pick someone who is simply just unqualified to be president, who has crazy ideas, they will do crazy things and they will hurt people. You know. Anyway, let me move on here. Hang on a second. Let me read this from the New York Times. New York Times came out and did sort of a nice summary of Trump that I thought was interesting. Listen to this. You already know Donald Trump. This was, I'm sure, an editorial. Thank you, Marcia. You already know Donald Trump. He is unfit to lead. Watch him. Listen to those who know him best. He tried to subvert an election and remains a threat to democracy. He helped overturn Roe, which is this abortion decision, with terrible consequences. Mr. Trump's corruption and lawlessness go beyond elections. It's his whole ethos. He lies without limit. If he's reelected, the Republican Party won't restrain him. Mr. Trump will use the government to go after his opponents. He will pursue a cruel policy of mass deportations. He will wreak havoc on the poor, the middle class, and employers. Another Trump term will damage the climate, shatter alliances abroad, and strengthen autocrats. Americans should demand better. And was this the final? I got two more little things here. Trump is pissed that Kamala Harris got on Saturday Night Live. We talked about this Saturday night. Kamala Harris was on a comedy show in America. They offered Trump. Trump didn't want to. She went on. It was very funny. I want to read you the quote from Trump. It was the funniest damn thing. Do I have my wig handy? Where's my wig? Where's my wig? Oh, you know what? I took the wig out. Hang on. I'm looking for my wig. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I've got my wig. I got my wig. Where did I put my Trump wig? Oh, no. I got to find this for tomorrow. Shoot. I took it out and I spread it out, and now I don't. Didn't I wear it this weekend? Ugh, I don't know where oh boy, I better find it by tomorrow. Uh-oh. Well, now I'm not sure where I put my Trump wig. I'm a little afraid that my Trump wig might be in the mail coming from Chicago. Ruh-roh. Anyway, Trump responded to Kamala Harris being on Saturday Night Live. Listen to this. Listen to this. Oh, thank you. Who's that? Oh, Swan. Good to see you. Thank you for the rock star thing. So listen to this. Trump claims that Kamala Harris, her routine on Saturday Night Live, that of course she didn't write, right? Saturday Night Live wrote it. Yes, Sasha claimed it. Trump claims that Kamala Harris stole it from him. He was on Saturday Night Live years ago and she stole his routine. Listen to this. That's why I tell you, I need my wig for this because it's so Trumpy. No, I'm not going to find it. It's so freaking Trumpy. All right, listen to this. She uses everything I do. She uses even Saturday Night Live. They copied. I love how he says things twice like a child. They copied. Think of that. Saturday. Oh, she was great on. They copied my routine. I did it a long time ago. They copied the same routine. I think I did it better, actually. I think anybody could have done it. I think anybody could have done it better. How do you not watch this man and think worst spoiled, thank you, Trilitic, worst spoiled child that you've ever encountered in your life? I mean, literally, guys, I'm going to read this again. It's no adult speaks this way, right? She uses everything I do. She uses even Saturday Night Live. They copied. Think of that. Saturday. Oh, she was great on. They copied my routine. I did it a long time ago. They copied the same routine. I think I did it better, actually. I think anybody could have done it. I think anybody could have done it better. I see that's Blue Sky says temper tantrum. That's the other thing. It's the temper tantrum nature of it too. That he's so pissed off that she was on TV and she was funny and people loved it. And it drives him crazy. Absolutely drives him crazy. Yeah. I mean, why does he have supporters? You know, isn't that the question? Actually, finally, again, I keep trying to find news about the Congress. There's very little news about that. I mean, it's kind of weird. Pretty much people think Republicans are going to win the Senate. The House, there just isn't that much news about the House race. And it's crazy because tomorrow Democrats could win back the House of Representatives. New York Times had a quick little analysis on this. While the vast majority of the 435 seats in the House, so the House of Representatives has 435 seats. The U.S. Senate has 100 seats. 1/3 of the U.S. Senate seats are up for election every time. This time, most of those seats are a lot of them are Democrats, and the Democrats are the ones who have a lot of really endangered seats, which is why they think the Republicans are going to probably win the Senate. In the House of Representatives, you've got 435 members of Congress. Every one of them is up for re-election every 2 years. It's a bit crazy, I think. 2 years is kind of much. But nonetheless, every House member is up for re-election every 2 years, okay? New York Times. While the vast majority of the 435 seats in the House of Representatives are not in play, the roughly 24 that are in play and that are being contested are truly up for grabs. Of the 22 races rated most competitive by the nonpartisan Cook Political Report, 20 are within the margin of error in internal Democratic polling, meaning there's 22 races that are up for grabs. 20 of them are ties. This is why, thank you, Uncle Doc. That's cute. This is why you're not here. Well, I mean, I don't want to say why you're not hearing a lot about the House, but the House, like the presidential race, is a tie. in essence, and they don't know what's going to happen. A lot of it is going to come down to, obviously, women. And do women turn out in such big numbers because of abortion? We'll find out. I grabbed really quick a printout from the Washington Post. I did a quick little look for what tomorrow looks like in terms of election results. America has, do we have 6 time? Actually, do we have 6 time zones? I'm trying to think. Well, I guess if you got to Guam, we've got 4 on the mainland. 5 is Alaska. Hawaii, I think, is 6, right? So would 6, Gunther's saying 6. Okay, 6 time zones. That's a problem because, right, it takes a while for election results to come in. I live on the East Coast. The election happens here first, so to speak. Even when things close in the East, things in the West may not close for, especially like California, some of the bigger states don't close for hours. Let me read you just briefly when we're going to start hearing results tomorrow night. 7 o'clock, Georgia. Well, here's the problem. I'm then going to read you the details. 7 o'clock, we'll start hearing results. This is 7 o'clock Eastern time, so Washington, D.C., New York City time. Remember, America just changed the clock this weekend, so make sure to check, right? Ask Google what time it really is in New York City, something like that. 7 o'clock at night, Georgia's results start to come in. 7:30 at night, North Carolina start to come in. Both of these hugely important states. These are the important ones. 8 o'clock, Michigan and Pennsylvania, hugely important. 9 p.m., Arizona and Wisconsin, hugely important. 10 p.m., Nevada. Oh, but the results don't actually come in at those times. The voting closes at those times. Listen to the further explanation. North Carolina. So North Carolina is 7:30 at night that the polls close, okay? North Carolina expects to release almost complete results on election night. Okay, that's good. Almost complete the night of the election. Wisconsin is results. I should say the polls close in Wisconsin at 9 p.m. This is all Eastern time, okay? 9 p.m. Eastern time. Wisconsin begins counting mail-in and in-person early ballots on election day, and results from its larger counties could come sometime after midnight. So Wisconsin, we may not even have, like, some of the biggest areas of Wisconsin may not even report their results till after midnight. This is midnight Eastern time U.S. Georgia, the polls close at 7 p.m. You go, that's great. 7 p.m. That's early, right? And Georgia's hugely important. Georgia will release some results soon after polls close, but Fulton County, home to Atlanta, the biggest city, may take longer. So Georgia's going to drag. Michigan polls close at 9 p.m. Eastern time U.S. Michigan adopted a new law that should speed up counting. Okay, that's good for Michigan. These are the bad ones. Arizona polls close at 9 p.m. Eastern time U.S. Arizona's especially long ballot and election day mail ballot drop-offs could delay counting. Nevada supposedly closes, not supposedly, voting stops in Nevada at 10 p.m. Eastern time U.S. Nevada conducts its voting largely by mail. Listen to this. Nevada conducts its voting largely by mail and allows ballots that arrive after election day to count. So there are ballots coming in after the election that are still being counted in Nevada. Now, those are the rules. Every state makes up its own rules, but that could make it very difficult to know if it's a close election. We may have to wait days to find out about Nevada. Pennsylvania, the most important state this election, okay? Pennsylvania, the polls close at 8 o'clock Eastern time U.S. Pennsylvania, by law, cannot start processing mail ballots until election day. And the actual tabulation of mail ballots cannot begin until after polls have closed. So Pennsylvania is going to be another one that's going to be who knows how long. I will say, when there's a blowout, sometimes you find out immediately. I mean, like, I remember, oh God, was it? I'm trying to remember now. I think it was John Kerry. So that would have been 2004 against Bush. We thought Kerry was going to win. I think pretty early that election started going badly. So sometimes you get a sense right away that it's going very badly for one or the other. And that would be, I mean, not good, but it would be good to at least have a clear answer either way. We don't know. We don't know. Why do they have to wait before counting, Amanda? Because each state makes its own rules. Thank you, NJ Patman. And I don't know why. The state decided they wanted to do it, literally. It's just each state makes its own rules. Am I concerned about MAGA extremists? Of course I am. Of course I am. Thank you, Jesse. Trump, God, I mean, every day Trump, I'm actually saying literally, I'm not saying this metaphorically. Every day Trump has been spewing lies about the election. He claimed all sorts of, was it Pennsylvania was the most recent one? Oh my God, thousands of stolen votes in Pennsylvania. Oh my God. And the Pennsylvania Secretary of State had to come out and go, the story is literally not true. It's literally not true. Elon Musk, of course, right, Mr. South Africa. Thank you, Larissa. Elon Musk has empowered this voter watch project, basically the Stop the Steal, which is the people who, sort of helped lead to the insurrection. They were the lead people behind the election lie. They're organized this time, and with Musk's help, they're using Twitter to basically find any example of election cheating and publish it on Twitter, and everybody can, crowd check. Well, these idiots crowd checked a U.S. Postal Service worker the other day. This guy may become rich, actually. Some idiot goes, I just saw this man. Here's this video. He was carrying thousands of pieces of paper. I think he was stealing the election. Does somebody know who he is? I asked him who he is. He claimed he was a postal worker, but then he wouldn't talk to me on camera. This thing got shared left and right on Twitter. They all shared it and went crazy. It was a U.S. Postal Service worker, like delivering the mail. These people are crazy and they're dangerous. Yeah. Thank you, not unincorporated. Well, here's the joke. Mary Jo says, wasn't there a law passed in 2022 to help prevent election fraud? America has had almost no election fraud in decades. And I've got to pull it up again. I did this on a show recently. I read this to you guys, the numbers of examples of election fraud. We've had something like, 20 in the last 20, I forget, or 100 in the last 20 years, like billions of votes. They said over 1 billion votes cast and something like 100 that were fake. The last election when Trump claimed everything was stolen, they pretty much found out that they claimed one state, there were like thousands of votes stolen. There were like 4 people who cheated and they caught them. They were all Republicans. As Scott just said, they were all Republicans. But the thing is, but it was like 4 of them. And again, this is where I tell you, I'm going to tell you the truth. The other guys are going to lie to you when they do these shows. Yes, 4 Republicans tried to cheat in one state the last election, but it was only 4 of them. It didn't matter, right? The Republicans would lie and say, oh, it was thousands. It was 4. We do not have significant voter fraud in America at all. The Republicans, unfortunately, have routinely lied, as they do to their followers, and claimed that, oh my God, there's so much fraud. So that, unfortunately, if you watch Republican news, you literally believe, oh, our elections in America, they're so corrupt and blah, blah, blah. Literally, we have some of the freest and fairest elections in the world. There is no voter fraud that you can speak of, almost none. And again, feel free to Google it. It kind of amazes me though. Okay, Syndicate just brought up the data. Oh, this is great. Syndicate just brought up the data. Listen to this. The Syndicate, I don't even think I can read that number. 0.000096% of all ballots cast between 2005 and 2022 were fraud. 0.0000, is that 4 zeros? 0.000096% of all ballots cast between 2005 and 2022 were fraud. That's it. We do not have, thank God, significant election fraud in America. We just don't. And Trump and the Republicans have lied to people and told them there is. It's just, Russian with Kamala. Well, the Russians are actually for Trump. They've made that clear multiple times. But you may be a Russian for Kamala. That's very nice if you are. But the Russians are for Trump. Yes. And Trump is for the Russians. Anyway, so that's it for the news. God, of course we've gone long because there's a lot to discuss. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The election is too close. There are signs today, as I was saying, that Kamala just might be getting some momentum. Women may be striking out. against the Republicans, which we thought they might because of abortion. And the Republicans have been banning abortions like nationwide. Trump is responsible for killing the constitutional protection to a right to an abortion in America. And women have been holding Republicans responsible for 2 years now since they did this. And the thinking is they might just hold Republicans responsible tomorrow. There's some initial indications. We don't know. Some initial indications, oh, that's right, Jesse. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. I remember this. Jesse says the Heritage Foundation is the conservative Republican think tank in Washington, D.C. They're totally MAGA now. They were never MAGA. They used to actually stand up to the Russians and believe in American national security. They don't anymore. They're totally Trump now. The very conservative Heritage Foundation run by Donald Trump says there have been 1,560 cases of voter fraud since 1982. Guys, that's 42 years. In 42 years, we've had 1,560 cases of voter fraud. Okay? We've got 150 million people voting this year. This is what I'm telling you. Voter fraud is non-existent in America. But, people want to lie to you because that's what they do. So how real is the Iowa poll? We might as well talk about it again, Harry. Harry was asking how real is the Iowa poll? We talked about it at the beginning, but this really is, I think, sort of a seminal thing to discuss. The Des Moines Register comes out yesterday with a poll showing in Iowa, Kamala Harris winning the election 47-44, Trump having 44. Now, that poll actually has a margin of error of around 3 percentage points, meaning Harris at 47, Trump at 44 is statistically a tie because that poll means within 3 points, right? The problem is Donald Trump should be destroying Kamala Harris in Iowa. He should not be tied with her. Literally, Trump destroyed, Democrats in the last 2 elections in Iowa, and he should be doing it again now. What people are trying to figure out is, could this poll be that wrong? The problem for Republicans is the pollster is this woman, Seltzer. I'm forgetting her first name. Was it Jan? You guys said her first name, who is like super famous in Iowa. She only does Iowa polling. She knows Iowa, and her polls are right. Thank you guys, and Seltzer. She gets her polls right. If this woman says that Kamala Harris is either tied with Trump in Iowa or Kamala Harris is winning in Iowa, that's crazy. Because again, Trump should be destroying. Again, you guys said 6%. I thought it was more. What were they saying? For example, how much did Trump win by in the last 2 elections? Iowa, 2016, 2020. Does anybody have the number in front of them? Thank you, Autumn. I want to say it was like by 8 points or 9 points, something like that. Like a crazy percentage that he won by. If Trump is tied, that's crazy. Now, the Trump campaign, 12-8, Kitchen Monkey says, 12-8. Won by 12 points the first time, 8 points the second time. What's interesting is Trump's people, thank you, Carol, Trump's people are saying, oh no, our polls show that Trump is really ahead by 5 points. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Carol. Trump's really ahead by 5 points, according to Trump's people. The political experts said, are you kidding me? They basically said if Trump is only ahead by 5 points in Iowa, that's super Republican, super white. He's in trouble nationwide if that's the case, because Iowa should be a no-brainer. Thank you, Shea. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Randy Fred. So anyway, that's what's interesting about Iowa is it has people wondering. Thank you, Iggy. Thank you, Randy Fred. It has people wondering whether this poll is correct. And if it is it a sign of women revolting against Trump in large numbers? What she did find with the poll in Iowa, the reason Kamala Harris was ahead was because women, independent women and older women were flocking to Harris in massive numbers. Also, I talked to you guys at the beginning of the show, there's also data showing that basically Harris has closed a lot of the gap she's got nationwide with men versus because so many men were supporting Trump. They're still supporting Trump, but she's closed it by a lot, whereas she still is winning women by like 11 points. So like she might be losing men by 4 points, but she's winning women by 11 points. And enthusiasm among women for the election far outweighs now in the most recent polls enthusiasm about by men. I don't know about young women, Eileen. I didn't see anything about that today. I just don't know. Like I said, the Iowa stuff especially was talking about older women and independent women. My guess, I mean, yeah, my guess is going to be young women in particular probably are pretty energized because of abortion and reproductive health, would be my guess, right? But I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. And right, Obama got Iowa, but it's been shifting redder. Who's that saying that? I can't scroll. TikTok doesn't let me scroll down. Yes, Iowa has been going more and more Republican over the years, which is why again it would be shocking. Do they still rely on exit polls? Yes, but because of I'm trying to remember, was it Bush v. Gore? I don't remember, or maybe the John Kerry. I'm forgetting which election this was. Media no longer gives exit polling on the actual results until the polls close. Meaning, exit polls are quite literally, you go to vote in person, and as you're walking out, they go, "Hi, I'm from CNN. Can I talk to you about the way you voted?" You say, "Sure." Okay, your gender, woman. What political party do you normally associate with? Republican. Can I ask your ethnicity or whatever? I'm white, I'm Latino, I'm this, right? Can I ask your age? Sure. And they start to get all this information. Let me list 5 topics. Which one is most important to you when you voted today? Immigration, the economy, abortion, right? And I don't know what else. Foreign policy. And they go through this, and those are exit polls. And they literally would go on the news and then say, well, we did exit polls today of voters, and we found that 53% were women, 47% were men, an unusually high number of older women voted today versus normally. The number one issue that voters at the polls today picked was this, or the number one issue Republicans picked was the economy. The number one issue Democrats picked was abortion. They would go, and they still do this. What they don't do anymore is tell you who they voted for. They used to, not until the polls closed. They used to, before the polls closed, say, well, the Republican is winning like 57% of the vote. And according to the exit polls, Democrats are not going to win this now. And the Democrats would hear this and they wouldn't, or Republicans, and they wouldn't show up to vote at all because the news basically said it's clear they're not going to win. And people stopped voting. So now they wait until the poll closes in a state before they certainly give you polls. I don't even know if they do exit polls anymore on how they voted, but they basically don't do it anymore during the day so that people don't get confused. But they usually wait till the end of the day and then start maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They'll start to give you beginnings of exit polls, percentage of women, percentage of, this kind of stuff. What were their most important issues? Just to give you a sense. For example, if it's a lot of women, if it's a crazy number of women, and it's a crazy number of people who say their number one issue is abortion, then things are looking very interesting for Kamala Harris. But those are the kind of tea leaves we're going to be looking at tomorrow. And it may not be over tomorrow evening at all. I mean, again, for the sake of our democracy, Kamala Harris needs to win big time, but because that way it's now Trump's going to lie anyway and claim he won, but it needs to be such a victory that only the crazies believe him, that basically everyone else says, yeah, dude, you didn't win, give it a rest. Fox, congratulations. I'm 18, female, and just voted. Good for you. Was it under Reagan that happened? Eric says it happened under Reagan when Reagan ran and California gave up. Was that the one? God, that was a long time ago. That would be the 1980s. But basically, they called California or whatever it was, or I don't know whether it was some races in California, but the Californians, actually, I think they called the election over. I don't even think they called California. They called the election. Like they called the presidential election before the polls closed in California. And the Californians didn't even go vote. But if they don't go vote, you're now impacting congressional elections too, right? So I didn't remember it was under Reagan, but I remember vaguely California getting screwed and people went home and they were like, what do you mean? I am going to do my live tomorrow, Bingo Bango. What I'm going to do, I said at the beginning of the show, thank you, Randy Fred. I am going to start the live around 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to start with subscriber only as a thank you to the subscribers. Also, it'll keep it a little more sane, fewer trolls, because I need to I need to give the subscribers something. I mean, the last couple months, obviously I've been in Chicago dealing with my mom's estate. I had just started, before that all happened, doing morning shows for subscribers. I was going to do election morning shows as many days a week as I could, like in the evening for you guys, everybody, and in the morning just for the paid subscribers on TikTok and YouTube. And then my mom died and I went to Chicago and I was stuck there for 2.5 months, dealing with her estate. And I mean, working all day, I couldn't do the morning show anymore. So I want to give the paid subscribers something for their support. So I am going to start the show at the very least. Thank you, Grenade. I'm going to start the show at the very least tomorrow for paid subscribers only, TikTok, YouTube, Discord. And then as the evening goes on, especially if Kamala Harris and the Democrats are winning, I'll open it up to everybody. If Kamala Harris is losing, I may not open it up to everybody because I'm not sure I want to deal with all the Trump trolls. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure. If she loses, I'm not sure I'm in the mood. But I'll go live at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Thank you, Nancy. So that's 6:45 p.m. Washington, D.C. or New York Times or New York time. Keep in mind, we just changed our time this weekend. So you may want to ask Google, or you can even text. You can even type in Google and say, what time is it in New York City or Washington, D.C., and it'll tell you. Kitchen Monkey is asking for a subscription over on TikTok if anybody wants to gift one. Anybody wants to gift subscriptions overall to help people get in, I would appreciate it. But as I said, I want to sort of do something for the paid subscribers. So election night seems like an obvious. Damien will be here too. Damien will be joining us. I mean, both sides, Trump and Harris, both have a path to 270. I mean, they do. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. Thank you, Velvet. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, yawning here. Jay Reaney says, NBC said, don't expect results tomorrow. Did they? Thank you, Rachel. Did they get a battery? Actually, the goat does have a new battery already. I also have a much bigger goat arriving tomorrow, but he arrives by 10 from Amazon. So we'll see what time here, but no, judging by the election, we probably won't know anything by 10. So we'll see. We will see. But I'll have Damien here and we'll be, thank you, James, for the gift. Anyway, I'll give you a summary. I can't even give you a summary right now. I mean, we've been talking for an hour and a half. I don't even know what to summarize. The summary is it's a tie. Today, I believe the pundits were feeling like things were moving a little bit Kamala Harris's way. Some evidence of women getting really pissed off and turning out because of abortion. Some evidence of Trump supporters not turning out. Some of his rallies were not full, which is very unusual for Trump. No Ukraine news today, AJ, because it's the American elections tomorrow. And let's face it, the most important issue right now is whether Donald Trump wins and whether Kamala Harris wins. So, no Ukraine news tonight. And I mean, we've been going an hour and a half just talking about the American election. I can usually only go this far before my voice starts to play games. Oh, yes. So my mug is basically, what does it say? Like big mug of tea, I think, or mug of tea, it says. And I've got one that says mug of coffee as well, but it just has water tonight. But my throat dries out as I talk, so I like to have my water. Anyway, maybe another question or two, guys, or something, and then we will call it quits till tomorrow. My Scotland mug, I do have my Scotland mug. I'll get it down for Callum. It's up there too. Now that I'm back in DC, I've got the Scotland mug. Coffee tomorrow, yeah. Honestly, who do I think is going to win? It's a tie. I mean, I really mean it. I feel like today, not just today, maybe culminating in today, things suddenly swung her way. I feel like yesterday there was a little more of a chance of Trump winning. I feel like today there's a little more of a chance of her winning, but I mean, it's ridiculously close, I think. Then again, women may surprise us, Do I think there's going to be violence? Not election night. Well, okay. Trump supporters, I think there's going to be violence at the polls. We know they've already done that. Syndicate, thank you. Syndicate just donated 5 gift memberships on YouTube. So Daniel, Jen, Rob, Hard Puzzle, and Anna B. You guys can all join us tomorrow night at 6:45 Eastern time. Remember, our clocks just changed in America. So that's 6:45 p.m. New York City or Washington, D.C. time. Now, there won't be a lot of news till 8 or even 9 o'clock, maybe. So I'll be here with Damien. We'll have this on, but I may not be, I'm not going to be talking for 5 hours, Do you, as someone in politics, feel like this election is really more vital than before? Oh, God, yes. Yes. Now, I will say this. Many elections, Democrats felt like George Bush's election, Democrats felt was hugely important. And I mean, it was, we got into Iraq like illegally, basically. I mean, we lied about going to war with Iraq. Afghanistan, totally justified. Didn't turn out too well, totally justified. Iraq, Bush lied. He lied. That's like the number. I mean, a lot of things bad in the Bush administration. That's the number one thing very bad. Donald Trump, let me put it this way. Under George Bush, we were not in danger of ending our democracy. Under George Bush, we were not in danger of, this is George Bush the son. The father was very good. The son. Under George Bush the son, we were not in danger of violence, political violence. No. Under Donald Trump, we've already had political violence, right? Under George Bush, we didn't have, we weren't normalizing sexual assault of women. We weren't normalizing defending America's enemies and attacking America's allies, right? Under George Bush, we didn't have a president calling our troops suckers and losers. I mean, the number of things that Donald Trump has done that George Bush, as the more recent president, the Democrats went, even Ronald Reagan, right? Ronald Reagan, a lot of bad things. A lot of good stuff on foreign policy, though, but a lot of bad things. Ronald Reagan, we did not have an existential threat to our democracy. We did not have a president who tried to overthrow our government. We didn't have a president who talked about suspending the Constitution, right? We didn't have this is totally different. And I hate this because to some degree, I think you look back and you want to make sure you're not being, hysterical, meaning hysterical, like, crazy. But this is just, we all know who Donald Trump is. This is just too dangerous. Thank you, Tired Guy, for joining. Oh, boy. Supposedly, Roy, I think you can choose who gets them on TikTok. You can. On YouTube, guys, am I incorrect? Or are you now, I believe you're able to choose who gets the gift memberships, right? James Althouse is saying it's not giving him the option. Interesting. Okay. I thought on TikTok you can, but I thought YouTube you could too. You can't choose. Really? Okay. Or Roy's saying that. It's random syndicate. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay. Sorry about that on YouTube. Sorry. Oh, boy. Trolls are being creative with the insults. Yeah. Although I will say you've done pretty good. The mods have done good. I don't think we've had, I didn't notice the trolls. You guys might have noticed them, but a lot of them are bots though. Yeah, we know this. They're automated, whether it's Chinese, Russian, Iranian, or Republican, or God knows what, right? I think that's true. George's Gorgeous says previous Republican presidents cared more about the country than themselves. Yes. George Bush, Ronald Reagan, patriots. Again, Ronald Reagan killed a lot of people with it. He ignored the AIDS crisis. I'm not saying good man, but he was an American patriot. He defended the country. He believed in the country. Donald Trump does not. My mail-in ballot went in a week ago. Thank you, Susan, for asking. It did. And it only has to be stamped. Thank you, Autumn, for subscribing. It only has to be postmarked before the election, but it's Washington, D.C. There's not a lot of, Oh, Lickman. I didn't know what you were talking about, Nino. Nino keeps asking the same question. I keep going, who the hell is he talking about? You're talking about the guy who did who always comes up with the however many point that he uses to predict the presidential election, and he always gets it right. That's who you mean, right? I kept looking, going, who the hell are you talking about? He had picked Kamala Harris. Again, I feel now like there is a slight advantage to Kamala Harris. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I was feeling a slight advantage to Donald Trump. Thank you, Dana. It's still too close. What's kind of funny? Again, what do I know? Right? We're all guessing here. But I think I told you guys when I was living in New York City back in 2016. Thank you, Dom, for subscribing over on YouTube. And I actually got to reach out to them. There were some friends in Washington with the German press. And I forget one of the big German media conglomerates. I don't know the initials. It was one of the there were like 2 or 3. Maybe there still are. And he was the president of one of them, or whatever you call it in Germany, chairman. And he and his wife were coming to to New York City, and they wanted to just meet Americans who, were smart about politics and knew the election. And the German media people said, "Would you like to meet him?" I said, "I'd love to. That'd be fun." So it was the Friday before the election. Thank you, Tony, for subscribing. The election's always on a Tuesday. It was the Friday before the election. We went for coffee at this really neat little coffee house in New York, somewhere in the village somewhere. And I remember him asking me, and he said, "Do you think Hillary's going to win?" And I said, "Yes, but," and he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "She's obviously going to win. The polls make it clear. There's no doubt she's going to win." I said, "But something is scaring me in my stomach." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because in the last month," this was different for Hillary than Kamala. I said, "In the last month, we've seen Hillary 5, 10 points ahead, tied, 5, 10 points ahead, tied." Like she just kept going really well and then badly, really well and badly. And I said, "I just feel like the support for her isn't as deep as it should be." Like people that support her, a lot of people supported her, but that a lot of the support was very skin deep. There was too much variation in the polls. And I said, "It's scaring me. She's going to win according to the polls." I said, "But something's scaring me." Now, I was right. Of course, I had a 50% chance of being right. So it's not like I'm a rocket scientist, right? All you do is flip a coin and you could be right or wrong. But this time, no, it wasn't. This is a famous media conglomerate. They own everything. One of the top 2 or 3 media companies in Germany. And it's an initial. Their letters, it was like 3 letters, something, I think. And I feel like this time, like I said, 2 days ago, I was very, very, very worried. It could have been RTL. That sounds familiar, Zapachi. ARD, ZDF. This is the problem, is it could have been any of these. I don't remember. It was a 3-letter, but there were only like 3 of them, and it was the guy running. I don't know. I'd have to look. I doubt I even have. I probably got the email, but I'd have to see like where it was. So yeah, I think like as of Saturday, I was very worried. Now I'm optimistic. Hold on, German media. The problem is I'm never going to find this. I don't think I can find, I don't know how to actually, I don't know that I know how to do the, or do I? Let me try this. Date within, oh God, no. Oh, date within, let's try this. 1 month of, just for fun, I'm going to do this. 11/4/2016. Let's try this. Subject has the words German media. Let's try that. Let's see. Nope. Consul General of Greece. Okay. German. Oh, I think I may have found this. Oh, hold on. Just because now I'm curious who the guy is. ZDF. It was ZDF. Yep. It was one of the, I'm trying to see who, it was one of the top guys. See, I don't have it written down here who the guy was. It was one of the top guys at ZDF. I think it was the top guy, as I recall. Yeah, pretty sure it was the top guy at ZDF. Because I remember him being like the guy. Yeah, like the guy running the entire conglomerate. Anyway, whatever. It was very fun, Anyway, there you go. Yeah, I just remember they were exactly GP. I just remember they were huge in Germany, but these names mean nothing. I don't know Germany as well. I know France. I know Italy. I know France very well. I know Italy. So like those names of media outlets mean a little more to me than the German ones do. Thank you, El Camino. This hair got cut a while ago, but this is actually long now. I mean, long. Although I'm liking my haircut. And the guy who cut it said, it wants to go forward, so stop pushing it back. So now I push it forward, and I do have to say, I think it's kind of fun. So anyway, the guy's name I'm not going to remember gone through. I don't think he gave me the name. I don't think so. ZDF. I'm going to look again at ZDF here. Nope. I think he must have called me and then told me. I don't have the guy's. I just don't have it. Yep. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, I've got the guy's name actually. It was Peter Fry. I don't know. Peter Fry was his name. I don't know. I thought he was the head of it. Peter Fry. Let's see. ZDF. Editor-in-chief of ZDF. Okay, he was editor-in-chief of ZDF, whatever that is. Yeah, that's it. That was the guy. I found it. Wow. Who knew the search engine actually worked on Google News? I mean, on Gmail. Yep. Well, these are Ethan. They're the new glasses because my old ones broke. So yes, we will see who wins. I mean, at this point, I think it's more likely Kamala Harris than Trump, but only by a hair. And that's only in the last 2 days. Only in the last 2 days. So we will see. We will see. All right, guys, let's go. Thanking Noah for subscribing. Join us tomorrow night. Tomorrow I will. Oh, Spiegel is an actual media conglomerate? I didn't know that. I mean, I know Der Spiegel, but I think of them as the publication. I never think of them as a conglomerate. I didn't know that. See, I don't know Germany. But yes, join us tomorrow, Noah, everybody else. So I will, like I said, I'll be going live for subscribers tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. I will try to check in the morning too. Crying tears of joy, Jamie or Jaime. And by the way, with the name Jaime, you ought to be, a little concerned about Trump's racist screed against, or Trump's campaign racist screed against Latinos. Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I will try to do a morning thing. For the paid subscribers, and then tomorrow night too. And thank you, Ann, for subscribing. As I said, as the evening goes on, if Kamala Harris is winning, I may open it up to everybody. If she's losing, I may keep it closed because I don't want to deal with all the trolls. But if we're winning, then I really want the trolls because that would be kind of fun. So, all right, thanks, guys. Have a good night. And I will see you all tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. All right. Good luck, everybody. All right. Have a good night, all. Thank you. Boop, boop.